Hello and welcome to the Year 11 Taster Session. My name is Mr. Coles. I'm going to be giving you an overview of the Year 12 Music Technology course at Folkestone Academy. Just to let you know, the music that you're currently hearing has actually been produced and recorded by our very own music technology students here at Folkestone Academy, one of which whom had never taken music technology before. They started last September. So, if we look at the subject music technology, it's the study of any device, mechanism, machine, tool used or operated by music technologists, musicians, composers in order to make music, perform music, to compose music, to notate music, to play back music, to record, to analyze and to edit music. So this really is the subject. In terms of what and how we offer it at Folkestone Academy, facilities-wise, we have 116, which is a brand new Mac suite. We have 30 Macs, each with headphones and a MIDI keyboard. On top of this, we have 117, very fortunate enough to have our very own recording studio, which has another extra 4 Macs. On top of that, we have the Master Mac with a 32-channel mixing desk, as well as professional monitors. This room has also had acoustic treatment. And actually, this room is connected to 116. And also, on the other side, we have 119. And we can actually connect 117 to either of these rooms and record live from them. So we can really turn. We've got the glass wall. We can really turn both of these rooms into live rooms and record live music, which we have done, which we do, which is amazing. In terms of the culture of music at Folkestone Academy, it's simply amazing. The community of sixth form students, and not only sixth form students, all key stages. There's music technology and music happening all the time, before school, during breaks, during study period. Students are composing music during lunch times, after school till students are in the studio till late. There's so much music happening at the school. We also have the theatre. The theatre is a very regular place where we do the live sound for performances. We do also sometimes record in the theatre as well. So, and in terms of activities, there's clubs. There's all performances are done by the students, which we're going to get into a little bit later. But there really is a massive culture of music happening at Folkestone Academy. So the level 3 course is not only extremely practical in lesson, but actually outside the lesson, there's so many opportunities to learn and develop more skills. So let's actually start looking at the course itself. The course is comprised from 5 units over a space of 2 years. So we have unit number 2, studio recording techniques. This is all about learning how to mic up performers, to mic up instruments such as amplifiers, guitars, guitar cabinets, or go straight in the desk to mic up drum kits, and really knowing how to capture and print the best possible sound. And this is from both sides of the glass as well. So from one side we're setting up all the microphones, but then from another side we're also controlling the mixing desk, we're controlling the levels, we're controlling the signals, making sure that we print and record the best possible signals, the best possible audio we can. It's really important. There's a saying in music technology: no matter how much you try, a bad recording is always going to be a bad recording. The worst thing ever is trying to mix a bad recording, a bad quality take recording. So unit 2 really teaches you everything about live recording in studios. So we've got unit 6, door production. This is a big one, as you can see. This is our one external unit, and this is an exam that you will be doing. The exam is based on samples. The exam is sample based, and there will be a brief. So you will receive 5 or 6 samples. Samples are a short excerpt of music. This can be a vocal sample, a drum sample, a bass sample, a keyboard sample, a sound effect. It can be any sort of sample. And you will have to make music out of these samples. You will have to match the music to a certain brief, whatever the brief may be. So the learning for this is you will learn all about how to use a DAW. Make sure some of the terminology I'm using now. I'm assuming that everyone that has got to some extent some music technology knowledge. If you don't, please make sure if there's anything I'm talking about, any jargon, please go and research. If you are looking to do this course, we know we have taken on people that haven't studied music technology before, but it is important to make sure you know what this jargon, because this is industry standard terminology that we use in the studio. So you will learn how to produce music, to sequence music on a DAW. The DAW we use in the school is, of course, Logic Pro X. We're currently, hopefully, we'll have Logic Pro X 10.5, which is the most up-to-date Logic version, which has come out very recently, actually, from when this video has been posted. So absolutely up-to-date facilities. And in DAW production, you will learn about recording, sequencing, sound design, understanding EQ, understanding how to sequence the best possible tracks, and really taking all those skills and abilities that you learned and developed from level 2 and really refining them. So we've got live sounds, unit 1, very practical unit. This unit is all about understanding the signal path from speaking into a microphone, such as I'm doing now, to coming out of speakers. Live sound is a very practical unit, and it contains there's a lot of detail in live sound that we use outside the classroom as well. There's many events that are happening that require in the school that require live sound. Very often, the music technology department, whenever we have open evenings, meetings, concerts, events, anything, we are always asked to provide some sort of live sound. I'm very proud to say that the students of Focus and Academy are now, the class you'll be working with, the year 13s next year, autonomously. They know how to set all the gear up, they know how to set all the equipment up, and they provide really great live sounds, and they know how to communicate with musicians as well. So the live sound unit will be something, really great unit to study, especially outside the classroom as well. Many opportunities to do it. So unit 13, we have mixing and mastering techniques. This unit is all about post-production, and what I mean by post-production is when we record, when we sequence, when we try and make a record, when we try and make music, the process is usually split into stages. The first stage is the recording of the compositional section of the recording, and this part of the sequence is purely we're composing the song and we're arranging it. Once everything's been recorded and everything's been arranged, the next part is mixing and mastering. So what mixing is making sure the signals are all balanced. So let's say we've got sometimes, let's say we've got a live recording, we've got drums. We might have one microphone at the kick. We might have 2 microphones at the kick, 1 hi-hat, 1 snare, 2 overheads, floor tom. That's 7 microphones already. On top of that, we've got a bass drum, we've got guitar, we've got a keyboard, we've got backing vocalist number 1, we've got backing vocalist number 2, and we've got a vocalist, lead vox. So that's 13 tracks. Mixing is making sure that all of these tracks are mixed in a really great stereo image way. And mastering is all about the finishing touches, the last finishing touches that you do on your track before the track is ready to release. So mastering is usually the very end of the production sequence, very end of it. So mastering can be adding some effects. Mastering can be making sure that the music is as loud as it can be whilst retaining the best possible quality. So that's some mastering techniques. And finally, we've got working and developing as a production team. So this is actually an amazing unit that's going to use all of the skills from all of the previous units you've studied. And this unit is very simply, you will be tasked with creating a body of work in a group. You and your group of musicians, and I say musicians because I like to call music technology students musicians, because everything you're doing, from turning knobs, turn wheels, faders, clicking, pressing buttons, everything we do in music technology, plugging in cables, we do it with a creative reason. These are emotional choices we're making, all to make the music sound as good as it can be, to make the music sound as high quality as it can be. So that is why I call all of these, they are emotional choices, they are creative and inspired choices. So I do say musicians, even your producers. Unit 18, working, developing a production team, is to create a body of work. This could be an EP, maybe a 5-track EP. It could be that you release on CD. It could be a mixtape that you release on SoundCloud even. But there's a lot that goes into this. Think about all the things you have to do. The unit will be very autonomous. Firstly, you'll have to make the music. Where's the music coming from? Are you going to source a band? Are you going to source some session musicians? If you source some session musicians, you need to book the studio for this. You need to document all of this as well. So when are the recordings going to happen? Then, so this is going to be Unit 2, using all the information from Unit 2. Unit 13, mixing and mastering techniques. So after post-production, after everything, and this ties in with DAW production as well, after all the recordings have been recorded, you're going to need to mix and master these pieces so that they're ready, that they're professional quality and ready for release. And on top of this, you're going to have to promote this. You're going to promote the music. We're going to have to there's going to have to be album artwork. There's going to have to be a campaign to release this music to make sure that it's widely received and it's a successful release campaign. So there's a lot that goes into Unit 18, and it really is a culmination of all the previous units before. So this is an overview of the Level 3 Extended Certificate in Sound Engineering over a space of 2 years. So let's have a look at. I've got a great taster task for you all to get an idea of what the lessons are going to be like, and just understand the format of how some of this music production is going to coming together. So I have got for you 3 samples, 3 really good samples actually. I tend to be pretty coy about where I get my samples from, but if anyone is looking for some samples, please email me stephen.coles@turnerschools.com. If anyone does want to create some music and is looking for some samples, I've got hard drives full of license cleared samples. 3 such samples I have for you, and the task is I want you to make 3 beats out of these 3 samples. 3 samples, 3 beats. Any genre beats, I do not mind what the genre of the beats are, you can interpret them how you like. And you can use any DAW. Hopefully you may have a DAW at home. The main DAW, of course, is Logic Pro. That's the big one we use. It's Ableton, Fruity Loops. On top of that, GarageBand is a very big one as well. Anyone that has an Apple product, you can use GarageBand. We've got a student in year 12 right now, actually, who has made some phenomenal beats off GarageBand on his phone. So I don't want to hear any excuses. It's not about the DAW, it's about what you do with the DAW. So if you do not have a DAW, if you don't have Logic or Ableton, fret not. There is an online browser DAW called BandLab, which we can use. I'm just going to show you how to access this, and also my samples are attached to the file here. So if you click on this link, I already have this set up, but if you click on that link, it will ask you to create a profile. What I would like you to do with this profile is please create a profile with your Turner Schools email address, not your personal email address. Please create a profile with your Turner Schools email address, and after that, it'll ask you for a code. For example, if this is one account that I have made up. After you've created an account, you'll get into a screen like this. So if we press join class, it will ask for your invitation code. Now, I've actually already joined the class, but the code that you're going to enter is this code here, OHYREZK. That is an O, not a 0, not a 0. So I'm just going to give you a bit. I know for some of you will not have had any experience on any DAW. So I'm going to show you BandLab. If we hit start assignment, teacher's assignment. So new track. Just put an instrument track up. So, or I need to turn my speakers on this so you can hear. So we've got, if we go over here on the right to attachments, we've actually got these 3 samples. I'm not going to play them. I'm going to let you play them and listen to them in your own time. But there's also a lot of information on these samples. If I download these samples very quickly, pro tip, if you download all these samples, you can actually drag them straight into your work from the bottom here. And they will drag in. Give BandLab your microphone access by clicking the icon. And here are samples. So with these samples, as I said, there's a lot of information in the name of them already. There are 3 very different samples, and the reason they're different is they're all different tempos, and also they're different keys as well. If you look at the numbers 1, 2, 6, 140, and 115, you can see straight away that these are all different tempos. So that's 126 beats per minute, that's 140 beats per minute, and that's 115 beats per minute. So 3 different beats, 3 different tempos. Something you can do straight off the bat is if we just delete these 2 tracks, we'll just use this one for now. Currently, the Logic session is 120 beats per minute. We need to make sure that our Logic session is in the same BPM. So if you can write this in 126, but this is a really important part. Once you press enter, audio stretching is going to appear here. Okay. Now, you must press don't adjust. If you press adjust, what it will do is time stretch your sample, which we do not want. So make sure you press don't adjust. So now, if you can see that actually, this audio sample fits perfectly in this loop now. So again, it's playing out of my headphones, but this sample is currently playing and it is locked in at 126 BPM. If we press this picture here, this is our click. So this is going to give you the tempo of the track. If you turn this number up, the tempo will be faster. And if you turn this number down, of course, the tempo will be slower. So this is a very basic way of how to use BandLab. On top of that, if you press instruments, you can choose if you want to add layers. We can add layers to this, which is hopefully what you're going to do. We've got all of these different sounds here. And actually, we'll go back to our instrument. Yeah, make sure you add the instrument track. If you want to add a track, you must add an instrument track. If you add a voice or mic track, you won't be able to use MIDI sounds. MIDI sounds are the electronic signals that generate music. Also, something that you may have seen is that on this keyboard here, again, you may not be able to see it or hear it, but these keys are actually attached to your own keyboard in front of you. So you can actually play all of these notes just on your keyboard. So it goes to show there's a lot of music that can be made without having any software. And also you can just like Logic, look, you can loop your sample. If you want to loop your sample, you can loop it. Very similar to Logic. We can pan. We can choose how much in each headphone we hear. So there really is a lot of detail here. So your task is to create 3 beats. That's 3 beats out of the 3 samples. Any genre you like at all. Be very interested in hearing what you guys come up with. And that code is the one to log in. Now, after you have written, after you've generated these three beats, I want you to pick one and analyze it. So I've got a few questions here. Just to get you thinking. So what ideas did you first hear upon hearing the sample in question? So when you first heard the sample, when you start any production, especially any sample-based production, you really want to sit and just listen to the sample. What ideas did you first hear when you first heard the sample? So some of you more experienced users of DAWs, did you manipulate the sample in any way? So have you reversed the sample? Have you chopped it up? Have you pitched it up, down, changed the tempo, time, stretched it? Also, did you use any samples / loops of your own? If anyone's looking for more samples and loops, as I know, hit me up and I'll sort you out. But also, yeah, really looking to see, are you using any drum loops? Are you using any drum samples? Are you using any key samples, any vocal samples of your own? There are loads of a really good website actually. I should plug this Looperman. Looperman, spelled as it sounds. You can get loads of free samples on Looperman. You can get really great samples on Looperman. But that's something I use occasionally. So also, if using a different DAW to what you're used to, how did you find the learning process? So maybe you've learnt on Ableton in your school, but you're using BandLab. Did you find it any different? I'm really looking for a detailed written analysis of the whole process. I want to know, how did you find this process? Did the beat in question meet your creative intention, your first creative intention upon creating it? If not, why? And so this is a little task I'd like you to complete at the moment, over term 6. If you want any help, please email me, stay in contact, and absolutely be down to help. Also, I'm connected to the classroom, so the classroom this BandLab is connected to my classroom. So if you save and upload your work on this on BandLab, I'll be able to access it. On top of that, if you want to bounce it out of whatever DAW you're using and email it to me, that's great as well. So also, I've got a questionnaire for you to complete. It's very simple questionnaire, but it's really just for us in the department, just to understand you a little bit better in terms of what you're looking to get out of this course, where you're at with music technology, what your experience with music technology is. So please, and there is space to be descriptive. Right. There are, try and we're encroaching upon level 3 now. We are out of level 2. We're out of GCSE. We're out of level 2 BTEC. I don't want to hear. I don't want to see one-word answers. I really want to hear what you're thinking about music. How are you? What are you thinking about this course? What are you looking to get out of this course? So that's the base question there. And finally, also a summer task. So this is a critical analysis of music, and this is. I must explain to be able to do a critical analysis of music. This is a task. This is a skill set. It most definitely is a skill set. You may come across when you're mixing music, when you're writing music, when you're composing music, and especially when you're working with other musicians. You may have a musical idea in your head. You may have a musical idea in your head. And to be able to articulate your thought process, to be able to tell people, to be able to actually collaborate with musicians, you must know how to use this language. You must know how to analyze music. When you join our class, you're going to hear a lot of the year 13s. And when you listen to a way they speak about music, they really know what they're talking about. Because of this, they can communicate effectively. You could be in the studio and you're hearing something and you're like, oh yeah, so that low sound in the bass, can we do something in the low sound in the bass, or to understand the terminology, if you know what you're saying, you can say, let's put a high pass filter on the bass. Being able to articulate your thoughts and your ideas, that is a skill set. So I want you to have a go at this. I want you to pick any piece of music that moves you, any genre, when I say a piece of music that moves you, any genre of music can move you. Any genre of music can move you. It could be a pop music, it could be a rock track, it could be a rap track, it could be a hip hop, it could be anything. But pick a piece of music that moves you, and really listen to the production and really think about the production. Of course, you can analyze the musicianship, you can analyze the arrangement, but what we're really looking for is an analysis of the production. So when you hear the vocals, the reason the tone of those vocals are that way is because whoever produced that album or produced that track wanted you to hear it that way. If you feel there's more higher resonance than lower, if you feel that the track is mixed well, if you think it's balanced well, if you think there's a really broad stereo image, talk about it. Talk about why. So I've given So there's some ideas here of some things you can include in the written task, and of course not written down is stephen.coles@turnerschools.com. If anyone has any questions and I want to get in contact with anything, please feel free to message me if anyone wants to know anything about the course. If not, we at Focused Academy Music Department look forward to seeing you hopefully in September. So thank you very much.